Welcome back. It's time for a PvP Classic against SOS.
Well, this one is like pretty hard to predict. Classic has been doing fantastically at IM Shenzhen. He beat Parting Rain and Hero in PvP, which is, you don't get better than that. Except SOS maybe. SOS is so deadly in this matchup, it's hard to say who wins this. But here, I think Classic can beat Maru, but SOS probably won't. But you know, it's a team deal, so I don't want to like go too deep on that. But like, if they weren't on the same team, I would lean towards Maru on that. Yeah, and I still lean towards Maru on that for sure. But yeah, it's a little bit hard to say as they're on the same team. But as for this match, I think Classic, like, God, I don't know how this is. Just SOS is so crazy in PvP, man. I wonder if he'll go 2-gate every game, by the way, because he has so many PvPs he's probably going to have to play tonight.
I wonder if we're going to have proxies inside each other's mains as well.
That would be so funny.
It is not out of the question.
No, I mean,
the slightest
that's how he
bit
beat
with
Hero
SOS.
in Katowice for that $100 grand. Like.
Now, keep in mind for PvP, 3 out of the 4 players in this group know that no matter what, they're going to have to do PvP and possibly more than once.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful. How much do you show?
That is the question, and I think that my favorite way to do it is if you're not proxying or going for like a 10-gate or something like that. I like a strategy that I've seen many top Protosses do before, which is putting up 2 gateways basically every game.
Yeah.
Because that just gives you the maximum amount of strategies they have to be concerned about.
It's also something we can refer to as build ambiguity. You see it, and it doesn't really tell you anything.
No, it doesn't.
You're like, well, that looks like you can still do anything. I know that when I get there, he hasn't done anything like make gates in my main or done a 1-gate strat, but having 2 gates early and not having any tech when they get there and then chasing them out and playing from there, very strong.
Could be anything.
Sure.
So I think SOS might do a lot of that tonight, but we'll see.
Our map lineup: Terraform, Echo, and Coda.
All right. No big surprises here. Those 4-player maps. Look at SOS here. Takes out the 2 4-player maps himself. That is very
telling. I think that's well. He might be doing some mind games just with map elimination.
Could be.
And it's because it's SOS, but
can't proxy on 4-player maps.
You can't. But then again, your opponent might be scared that you're going to proxy no matter what, and then you can play normal. So expect anything. This is our second best of 3 Classic against SOS. In the bottom right in the red, he is
SK Telecom T1 Classic.
in the upper left in the blue. He is
Cinea Greetings SOS.
Yeah, it's, it kind of shows a little.
some support here for SOS.
SOS.
He might be the best, actually. Whoop! Oh, we got punked just there. We got punked so bad. All right, so more support there.
I want to go back to the elimination of the 4-player maps by SOS.
Yeah,
because
let's talk about that.
In PvP, 4-player maps are actually bad. Like, they're not even good for the matchup because there's so much randomness. If they're the last place that you go to scout with a normal time scout, you don't get to see anything. So, like, there's so many games in PvP on 4-player maps that are like just very luck-based. Not completely luck-based, obviously there's a lot of skill still involved, but like super duper RNG, and it screws you over. Where you're like, well, I didn't get to see anything because he's last spot. And he got to see me because he scouted me first. And that, like, you absolutely lose games like that quite often. So for SOS to take those out, those more random maps, it's kind of interesting because you oftentimes think of him as someone who,
would
plays
abuse
on
or
the edge
utilize randomness.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, one of the things, just to kind of go off of what Artosis was saying, because the Stalker is so strong at denying scouting, and the post-cybernetic score completion, the options are like so endless for what Protoss can do. Yeah, if it's on a 4-player map, you scout them late. I mean, you're in trouble. If they scout you first and you just happen to go the wrong way.
Yeah. By the way, I do want to mention 2 gateway build by SOS. Really, again, not too surprised to see that. This is a way that he loves to throw people off. Like, off of 2 gate, he will do absolutely any strategy. And he actually starts a Zealot.
Very interesting. That usually means he's banking up more of his gas.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
At the same time, he's also making it more difficult to deny the scouting probe. However,
and he cancels.
Oh, he does cancel. Okay, because Classic might also just leave early.
That's what it was for.
Yeah.
Was to force him to leave early, because you don't actually want a Zealot this early at all for any reason. So, that was great, because he's like, all right, that's a Stalker, you better get out. And everyone knows when they see that gateway start, they're like, all right, I gotta get out of there, because if your probe is anywhere nearby, you die.
Yeah, the Stalker is gonna get the probe unless you can hide him in time.
But both end up going Stargate here.
Now the question is, will anybody get any Phoenixes? Because if one guy goes Phoenixes, the other guy flies in there with an Oracle.
Yeah, you generally lose that.
Yeah.
Like, unless your Oracle just happens to miss all the Phoenixes and get a bunch of probe kills. But if it doesn't, you're screwed. All right, so Classic adding 2 gates, probably going Oracle, that means. Oracle 3 gate is a great strategy. Oracle for both.
Yep. Mirror builds, essentially. Mirrored ideas.
And SOS immediately makes a Nexus.
Are we going to see the same thing here for Classic?
You know, no, it looks like he's going Oracle Blink, actually. Now, he will see this, and that's going to make him happy.
Does he?
Because Oracle 3 gate beats fast expansion. Like, if your expansion is too fast, but with an Oracle coming out for SOS, I mean, that changes things up quite a bit.
Too bad he got spotted there. Intel in this matchup is so critical. Phoenix is now being pulled in here by Classic.
Yeah, he has a pretty good idea of what's going on. That
Classic also going to get a Nexus here. And here comes that Oracle now. Might just try to get this probe on the way. One down. Whoa.
All right, so that Oracle was completely owned. The Oracle of Classic still left alive, so that's nice. SOS going to get his own Phoenix to make sure that the Oracle is not something that's scary anymore. And Classic continuing to build another Phoenix. Maybe thinking his opponent will make more Phoenixes. Because whoever has more Phoenixes wins.
Phoenix versus Phoenix, it's kind of a crazy arms race.
Yeah.
Both guys just getting as many Phoenixes as possible, because if one guy goes Phoenixes for a little while and then stops, there's a chance they just get completely smashed by the guy with more Phoenixes, and then that guy comes in there and picks up your whole army.
Yeah.
And his kind of small ground army shoots everything down.
Exactly. And they both are staying on those Phoenixes right now. If they actually get, like, serious about the Phoenixes, this matchup gets really weird then. But let's wait and see. I doubt that they're both going to actually stay on them. All right, here we go. You can use these Phoenixes to lift up the Stalkers so you can get more kills. And look at that beautiful control here by Classic. Going to go ahead and take down some probes.
Oh, but the Phoenixes of SOS has come over here. And he's going to be able to tail this all the way back. Nothing gets out of there in one piece. 3 probes killed for the price of an Oracle and 2 Phoenixes. I don't say that's a very good trade there.
It was a really cool move. And he got a Sentry, so which makes it slightly less bad, but it was really bad. Not only did SOS kill 2 Phoenixes and Oracle there, but let's not forget, his expansion was way faster.
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, all those resources kick in a little bit earlier. So, Classic playing from a bit of a deficit. It's certainly not one that it will be impossible to recover from. We'll also have to see how SOS uses these Phoenixes. We've seen players get ahead and then make 1 or 2 blunders and completely end up behind. Second Stargate, that's what I was really waiting to see here.
Yeah.
Will we have 2 Stargates?
All right, well, if he confirms that his opponent is still going for Phoenixes.
Which he is.
Yeah, it's like when you have more Phoenixes, you just roll them. It's super duper easy. And look at this, he's got like no units. So just like you said, Tasis, he flies in, picks them up, with his few ground units, starts to hit.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Oh, he needs to. That's too bad.
That was a big mistake right there of SOS. He's still all right though.
Don't worry, guys.
Wait, he's going up to 3 Stargate. This is
No, wait. No, he isn't. What?
Yeah, he is.
He is.
He is. which means he'll probably go almost pure Phoenix here, which is kind of crazy. He might want to add in Void Rays at some point because, you know, eventually you can hit a critical mass of Stalkers where the Phoenixes don't do as well. Or if you can tech into Archons, normally you need to be on 3 bases to do that.
It's kind of a funny game here.
Yeah, it certainly is. Well, it's SOS, man, so I'm loving it. Like, wants to play Phoenix, like 3 Stargate Phoenix on 2 base? I love it. I'll watch this all day.
Third Nexus here for SOS. Realizing he has tempo with Phoenixes, the travel distance by ground, it's pretty long on this map. So,
yeah.
Plus, if he's going to be going into SOS's area, or Classic, I should say, is going into SOS's area where there's just more Phoenixes, the Phoenixes just come and kill everything.
Yeah.
Classic's approach to this game is much more traditional Protoss versus Protoss.
Indeed.
Which was the idea that, okay, the Phoenixes served their role, and I did what I needed to do. I mean, they can still help out my army, but I need to get back to, go back to my roots. You know, get a lot of Blink Stalkers. Let's get some sentries. Let's take a look at the Robotech. SOS is very unorthodox, and I don't know how much experience Classic gets to practice with against this style specifically.
Yeah, that's
there are some pro gamers that don't delve into this, or would consider it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like people that when they're like that doesn't really work. That's stupid. Why are we going to play this? Do a practice game.
No,
a
lot of people don't like to do Phoenix versus Phoenix. I actually personally love this type of thing. It's kind of like Muta versus Muta, where it's hard to switch out of this because the amount of Phoenixes he has right now, like he would kill all those Stalkers if the Phoenixes weren't near them.
Well, coming up here, he'll be able to kill all the Phoenixes and have the entire army for Classic off the ground.
Yeah. But you know, you can hit that critical mass once again. So Classic just playing very defensive here, but SOS now on 3 bases.
Yep.
Oh man, those Phoenixes being out there, if he caught those, look at this. Now his Phoenix is going like, his Phoenixes have a lot of potential to deal damage here.
Did anybody get an air attack?
No one got it.
No one's getting that. Okay.
Focusing on getting the additional Phoenixes.
You probably want to see air attack upgraded if both players ended up with something like 3 Stargates.
Truth be told, he shouldn't have gone 3 on 2 bases. He should have gone 2 in air attack.
Yeah.
He has like built 3 Phoenixes like 1 time.
All right, but he's coming in here now, and the problem is when you have this many Phoenixes versus a lower number, kind of like Muta versus Muta, the damage is dealt exponentially.
It's so fast, and now he's got 15 against 0. Like, that was definitely a mistake to have those over there, I think. But you know what? It drew the Phoenixes home.
Does this work now? Does he just pick up everything?
Yeah, I think he... Well, he actually blinks in here, and he does definitely want to pick off... Well, we can't see underneath what's actually going on.
We don't know what's happening!
He definitely wanted to pick off that Immortal. That was his main thing to do right away. But there are still a lot of Phoenixes out right now. He's only lost 4 during all of this. Look at that. That's so funny.
This looks hilarious. Yeah, you know, when you have those Zealots underneath, you know, Zealots actually deal damage faster than Stalkers, guys.
Yes, that's true.
I mean, we normally see the Stalkers kiting them.
Well, you can't kite when you're in there, but I guess the Zealot can't hit you there either.
Well, also, I think just like it was hard for us to see what was going on there because we couldn't see what was going on underground, I think the Zealots are doing a lot of damage.
Well, you see Classic now in a pretty big deficit. What does he really have going on? 8 Blink Stalkers against 3 base Protoss? That's nothing. That's like nothing. He's probably dead here. Hard to imagine what he can do to come back. All right, he's making a Dark Shrine. I mean, maybe DTs can do something. I think like Archons can definitely be good.
Probably nah.
Well, an Archon against Phoenixes, because when you have that many, like during that battle, if he had 1 Archon, it would have gone the other way probably, because he would have done so much splash to the Phoenixes all
I think you're probably right, Artosis, but if we take a look at the actual unit comp, there's already, at this point in time, the Immortals, the multitude of Stalkers for SOS, the extra Zealots.
Yeah.
It's like, this is when you're so ahead. If this is a race, SOS is lapping him here. And in fact, there's a chance Classic might just tap out because this is going to be an annoying game where he's not going to get to do much around the map.
Yeah.
Look at this. He's like, I don't care about this army. Is that what you have? I already have a better ground army. I don't even need Phoenixes.
He's going to see what he can get done with these Stalkers.
He's going to get a Forge that's not upgrading anything.
Yeah, that's always good.
Okay, and now we get to pick this up.
Yeah, here comes
everybody up the ramp, please. Come up. We have to clean this up. And Classic, you know, he's a great player, but SOS is just from another dimension, man.
Yeah, SOS, like, in a weird situation is just going to
too
be...
strong. Look at that. Yeah, they're GG. All right.
Okay.
Wow.
Well,
crazy, man.
big mistake from Classic to fly his Phoenixes across the map when he knew he had less. Because as soon as he did that, it's like, okay, here's, you know, how many Phoenixes did he have? I mean, it was a good... He lost like 12 Phoenixes that game or something like that. It's too much. He didn't have 12 at that time, but like, he just threw those away. He needed those to kind of threaten the Phoenixes, where it's like, okay, if you lift up 8 Stalkers, I have more Phoenixes, and my Phoenixes start wrecking yours.
You know,
so.
Anybody who's played StarCraft probably knows the feeling that Classic has, where you lose a game and you're thinking, I don't understand that. I don't know. I mean, was I supposed to keep making Phoenixes? Was I... You know, it's very confusing. Should he have just stayed back with his own Phoenixes? It's a tough one. SOS picked the fight, and it was a fight he had fought many times before. He knew every move exactly.
Yeah. Well done by SOS there.
Yeah, he's looking really good.
He really knew the ins and outs of what he was able to do. That is definitely one thing. If you're playing Phoenix versus Phoenix, if both of you are committing heavily to Phoenix, you absolutely can take a third base right away because they have no ground army.
Yep.
And even if your opponent is half-assing it like he was, you can still do it because he's going to have like kind of half and half in between Nexus Cannon, like a random Immortal, and a few ground units.
Yeah.
You should basically be able to hold on.
I think the mistake too is that when Classic went into the main there, I mean, Phoenixes are the one units where if you're good at control at all, in fact, if you're even average at control, you should be able to zone those into a corner and kill them. Yeah. Phoenixes attack while they're moving. I mean, you don't have to...
Indeed.
You don't have to do any kind of awesome Phoenix stutter fly micro in the air to get them. So, I mean, once they got up there, yeah, they got the kills, but then here comes this death fleet that kills off everything. From there, I mean, it's going to be checkmate in a few more moves, man.
Well, we'll see. What will SOS do? Will he continue on the 2 warp gate into randomness? And Classic, I think in a more normal situation, he can put out much better PvP, but SOS made it weird.
He did.
He made an awkward situation for Classic, and Classic didn't have the proper training for it.
No, that's SOS in a nutshell. People hate playing against SOS. He really has. He's had this for years and years. This understanding where it's like, almost like he's a time traveler from like 2019 or something, coming back in time, using builds and strats that we haven't seen before.
He's an expert on a bunch of books you haven't read, and he's also the teacher, so he makes the book reports on those books.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way we can sum that up.
You know what? You nailed it, Artosis. This is why you make the big bucks, buddy. With stuff like that. Map number 2 is going to be Echo. Classic. Hopefully not too tilted after that last loss. Really curious to see what SOS is going to do now. Very unpredictable player, seems to just see the game differently from everybody else. Again, all these players in this group here today, Group B, very hungry to get that GSL Code S Champion. This will be the last GSL Code S tournament of the year.
That's right.
So a lot of pressure on all these guys. And obviously the most tough group we have here in the round of 16. Everybody wants to get out. Let's go to game number 2 here. Classic against SOS. In the bottom right, in the red, he is
SK Telecom T1 Classic.
Wait, what is that badge? It's like a coffee mug with question marks on it?
Oh, I was not looking at that.
I caught like the last second of it on camera, and I was
I'll definitely take a look next time.
And here we have SOS in the upper left.
All right. So, how's it going?
I'm doing great, man.
Yeah.
It is. It's a lovely day. The weather's quite nice out.
Yeah, it's getting cooler now.
Yeah, it's going that brutally hot August.
Yeah. It's really cooling off very quickly.
What's up, guys? Thanks for coming down. Welcome.
How are you guys doing? None of you have earbuds in, so you can't even hear me.
I believe we're actually so loud. I think people can hear us in the in here with it. I think at least people can hear me. I'm really loud.
You think they can hear you over the booming Korean and sound effects on those speakers?
I think, well, I don't know if clearly.
I think that you're just so arrogant about how loud your voice is.
I've really got to. I'm very confident about that one part of it. My personality is how loud I am. But yeah, you know, when people come down to the studio, we do have a limited number of earbuds and little transmitters.
Things.
Actually, I don't even know if we hand out the earbuds or.
I think there are earbuds that come with it.
Okay. Thanks for coming down, guys. Welcome to the studio.
Does he even know he's on TV?
We actually got a kind of full house here today. Not as full as any day of GSL, but for a round of 16, there's a lot of people down here.
Certainly. Well, it's a great group, right? I mean, this is 3 huge fan favorites and the guy that's won more than all of them. Classic. Well, I guess SOS has won more money, but the Classics won 2 leagues inside Korea, which is what SOS really does want.
Yeah, that's what's funny about it. These guys are all sort of the best, but in their own different ways. Like SOS making the most money. Maru, a lot of people saying he's like the best, most original Terran that there is out there. You got Hero. What is he best at?
He's sometimes the best Protoss in the world.
Yeah.
Right at this second, not, but
off and on the best Protoss.
Yeah, just nonstop. And he's won like I think he's won like 30 IEM tournaments. I think it's somewhere between 25 and 30 IEM tournaments he's won. But yeah, I mean, Classic is a big-time champion as well here. I do want to mention that SOS once again has gone for that double gateway strategy I was talking about earlier. This is something that to him is quite common in long PvP days. It's a good way to randomize your play. And it looks like...
He's boosting out the Stalkers already.
Yeah, this is... He could be doing a 3 Stalker Rush, a 5 Stalker Rush, or a 7. They all have slightly different timings and like where you use your Chronos and whatnot, but like it looks like he wants to put a lot of pressure on early.
And this is pretty cool. We've seen this, but it's actually quite old, the 5 Stalker Rush.
Yeah,
7 Stalker Rush not as old, and then they kind of went out of style, but it's always sort of been one of these builds.
Yeah,
you can do.
It can be a good build. It rotates into being good when people are too greedy. But here it's going to be 3 Stalker pressure into an expansion, which is fine. That's like he can go over there and actually maybe force a Nexus cannon even possibly.
Now, one thing you got to keep in mind though is that Classic, by the way, making a proxy pylon, is going for 3 gates with oracles. So I'm really a little bit worried about the counterattack here.
Yeah.
SOS is possibly getting a little bit too greedy here.
Well, he wants to get this Nexus, and he does force that Nexus cannon. He's going to go ahead and lose one of his Stalkers, which is a huge deal.
Especially because of the scary follow-up here.
Yeah, like Oracle Blink is a fantastic build. If it wasn't for the fact that sometimes people make Phoenixes, I would do this build every single PvP. But, this is, with this many gates and whatnot, he can definitely put on some nice pressure. He's going to have complete map control. He's going to have better scouting overall.
Notice he did not use the Nexus Cannon there. He saved that. And we're going to have Classic expand behind this. So a bruised Oracle is continuing to orbit around SOS's base, hoping to see any exposed probes, any vulnerable workers that he can then punish SOS for. I'm not sure what SOS does from here exactly with these 2 builds. I'm wondering if maybe you want to be careful not to have too many probes at your expansion base.
Uh-oh. Well, that's an issue. He was out of position for that. But, when you're playing against Oracle, unless you have like a Stargate, I think you mostly, unless you kill it, have to just sit tight and defend both mineral lines well. Because, otherwise you get way too much damage. Already this is a lot of damage. SOS is 7 probes behind right now, and his expansion was much faster.
Yeah, this is a little bit tough here. We did see Classic not opt to go for aggression though. Any kind of a 1 base play, try to get in there. And I think that was a smart move since SOS did save the mana he had on the Mothership Core to not use a Nexus Cannon, so that's pretty good. Both players getting Forges now. I think the real story is what Artosis was saying, that the probe count is slightly superior here for Classic. SOS is doing a good job catching up. I think he might be chrono boosting a little bit more on his Nexus.
Yeah, he's, just the fact that it was up a little bit quicker allows him to catch up somewhat, but Yeah, it looks like, notice the forge timing on both of them figuring out very early that neither of them can kill each other here. It is interesting to note that Classic actually skipped getting Blink when he saw what was going on over here, deciding, you know what, I'm not gonna do anything with that Blink at the moment, just gonna go ahead, catch up on this Nexus, do some harassment, you know, make the units that he needs. And nothing more than that, of course.
And so we see that Oracle filling the role now that it sort of gets kind of stuck doing, which is just tagging the army. Usually aren't going to get in there and kill too many more workers. Occasionally you can if their whole army moves out, but he's going to keep that around, see if he can't just spot anything. That's funny. He's just in vision of an observer.
Coming for him. Oh, almost. Notice both players do have a couple sentries, and that is so that they can just continually scout each other. They need to keep track of things like, when does the third base go up? Does a second robo get made? Is there a Dark Shrine being made? Those are really the things that they're looking for here.
One thing I know we do from time to time have beginners tune in here. The hallucinated phoenixes are only for scouting and not for trying to trick the other guy into thinking we saw phoenixes. Even though we saw a lot of Phoenix play last game, this game has evolved in a different manner.
Yeah, they both know that no one's going Phoenix.
So they're just there because they're free flying units. Even though they don't do damage, they can get in there and spot pretty easily. And there's really no loss if you lose them.
No, certainly. It's just 100 energy. It's whatever. You know that you're not going to attack each other for a while anyways. So you got to get that intel, because PvP is about like very small edges that you can get. Like if you just don't scout me for a little bit and I made a second robo, when we both max out or get close to it, my army's going to be better because I'm going to have 2 more Colossus or something like that. You know, so if you can scout me doing that, you can either punish me or attack me or, you know, get your own second robo.
So the Colossus count is in a very small lead here for Classic.
And
it's going to be 2 Colossi in just a little bit.
Yeah, so it'll be a 2 Colossi lead, but we're going to have a 2 Immortal lead for SOS, which is just kind of different.
Yeah, I mean, occasionally you see that, you know, a lot of times all the armies are cleaned up except for these 2 Immortals, and then there's Colossi hitting Colossi, but the Immortals deal so much damage and can really take a beating more than pretty much any other Protoss unit.
Yeah. Looking at what these guys both have, I am liking the 2 Colossi over those 2 extra Immortals. If they hit the same Colossi count when they fight, then SOS will obviously be at an advantage there, but the extra Immortals, when you get a bigger army, take a while to actually cut through. The Colossi are going to do more damage overall.
Looks like Classic is debating doing a poke in here.
Yeah, you know, if you have Colossi, you can poke before they have Colossi, which is right now until about 3 seconds from now. If he had poked, force fields play a big role because they have nothing to step on them, but does just turn around, kind of just posturing on the map.
The third Nexus is about to finish here for Classic, for SOS. It's already done here for Classic. And you know, this is sort of that moment in PvP. PvP is very volatile in the early game, and then when you get to mid-game, it tends to slow down a little bit. It's one of these games where people can't really attack into each other as much.
Yeah.
We do still see it happen from time to time.
Yeah,
but
defensive concaves and arcs and stuff are so important in this matchup, and like being in the right choke or not being in a choke, drawing them into a choke to attack you, things like that. Like the thing is, Colossi deal huge amounts of damage. That is, you know, splash damage at a giant range. So attacking into Colossi is unbelievably hard to do. It's just like you have to be so good at PvP and really understand what you're doing to attack in, or you will lose despite having a better army.
Yeah, in fact, a lot of times we have PvPs where really looks like they're neck and neck, and then all of a sudden in one engagement, one guy wins, like still with 40% of his army remaining. The other guy is obliterated just because of a few thermal lances from the Colossus connecting in certain ways.
With a maybe a warping of Zealots on the side to draw fire, or a time warp, especially on the army going down.
Time warp
just
especially.
Like things that will completely kill you in a battle, Colossi versus Colossi. So they're a very good defensive unit. It's kind of like siege tanks. Like siege tanks attacking into unsiege tanks. Or unsiege tanks attacking into siege tanks is a big deal. Okay, so look, this is the second forge timing that I've talked about in the past, which is Tempest Tech coming in for Classic.
You mean these fleet beacon timing?
Yes.
Yeah,
no,
forge.
well, no, I mean the second forge timing. That's what I call it, because the forge timing has less to do with the forge and more to do with the realization that you two can't kill each other.
Yeah.
So the second timing that's like that in PvP rarely happens. It used to happen on Deadwing every game.
Oh, I like
this
the way
is
you're
a
putting
new map
this.
it can
Yeah.
happen on, but it's the second realization that, okay, we've both done the right things with our tech. We can't kill each other. Time to go Tempest, because it's the only thing that can engage against this cost efficiently.
Now, what's interesting is Classic's going for that. SOS is going for one of these comps where he's going to have DTs. He's really hoping to have his opponent sort of out of position, whereas Classic is going for this, you literally can't kill me. I have too much. You can't actually get inside.
And when you get enough Tempests, and that'll vary on map and positioning and whatnot, you can actually just go over and stand in a defensive arc outside of their base, outside of where their army is, and poke with your Tempest until they have to attack you, and then you're the defender over near their base. It can be pretty brutal to play against. So Classic is absolutely outplaying SOS this game. He's going for a much stronger unit composition here, a much stronger strategy. He's got enough cannons, everything's sealed up at home. He's in great shape.
One thing to note is, for SOS, he wants to be in the middle of the map so he can have a favorable engagement. So Classic's going to keep using the Warp Prism to try to fly in there and just warp Zealots in. And that's why we might not see them ever actually hit a max out. You might actually float at 180 and then leave this 20 supply margin so that you can fly in there and warp in Zealots. That
definitely is a strategy that you can use, because of course you can always just warp in if you're going to have a fight. You're like, okay, now I'll get those units. You want to make sure you have whatever units that you need that build out of a Robo, and anything that has energy like High Templars or anything like that, but like Zealots and stuff, you can just warp those in last second.
Well, SOS is going to come in. Let's see if we have an engagement that just doesn't go well for Classic, because even though I kind of agree with you, Artosis, I like what Classic is doing better. Sometimes it's just how do the armies collide into each other.
Yeah, as long as he micros right, he should be able to take this. And there you go, the Time Warp. Notice he's trying to attack in right now, but the Time Warp really slowing him down. These Tempests doing work, picking off these Colossi.
Problem is the Archons are getting right underneath the Tempests.
Yeah, that is right. He needs to move them a little bit more. But he's really focusing on these Tempests. He just wants to kill all the Tempests off, because if he has a bunch of Colossi, his opponent doesn't, he just wins. So there you have it. SOS, I think he realized that he never saw the second forge timing. He actually, the second moment where you realize inside the game that you two can't kill each other, if your opponent realizes that far in advance, they win. Just like if they notice far in advance that they can get the forge out, and you're still doing things like making immortals. It's like, well, now you're kind of screwed because you weren't spending your gas on the right thing. You weren't taking the right edges here. So a great play there by Classic, really understanding what to do every step of that game.
We're going to game number 3 now. Remember, the winner faces off against Maru. Could be either of these guys. SOS having a really good, I'd say some of the best understanding early game PvP, but Classic there is saying, all right, I'll show you how far this rabbit hole goes.
All right.
Map number 3 is Coda. I really just don't know who's going to win, man.
No, it's hard to say.
It's really difficult.
That's why I was having to give all these caveats, like, okay, SOS, I think he loses tomorrow. I think Classic has a better chance with Maru, but I don't know who's going to win here.
Yeah. Well, let's see what happens. This will be the last match between these two, at least for now. This is the toughest group in the round of 16. These guys just want to get out, survive to the round of 8. It's not going to be an easy fight for anyone.
4 big-time champions, tasteless. Who's going to take it? Classic or SOS?
In the upper left, in the red.
SK Telecom T1 Classic.
I missed it again.
The button. In the bottom right, in blue, he is
진에어 그리닝스 SOS.
stamina a big thing today. You know, you got to get all the way out of the group. You know, these days are usually about 4 hours.
Yeah.
You're not just on point when you're playing. You've been practicing all the way up until this. You are trying to observe the other players' play styles, see if anybody seems to be tired, if there is some kind of tick that they do, some kind of build they rely on. Oh, thank you, man. Love you guys.
Oh, you guys are the best.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Then he trolls us like the guy who said SOS is best.
Yeah.
Like, Apollo's rated best. Like,
No, that's our biggest fear. Well, will we have the 2-gate play today? From SOS, I think probably we will.
This is like... Well, no, I guess not. He's going to switch up this... Well, you can still go 2-gate with too early gas. He likes oftentimes to not do it that way, but let's just see. But yeah, SOS is definitely a fan of going 2-gate like an absurd number of times just to... It's kind of like, I know you remember that awesome day where Squirtle was in a group of 3 Terrans.
Oh, this is like 4 years ago, but yeah, he had 5 build orders that all looked
the same.
They started
like
out
the Reaper
the same
couldn't
branch.
scout anything different.
Yeah.
Scouted every Reaper, every game, scouted the exact same thing, and he did 5 different things throughout the day, and it was like insanely awesome. That was one of my happiest groups I ever saw.
Well, it's nice because you know, we've had a lot of our theories, especially back then, you know, about how to play in a best of 5, how to play in a group. And Squirtle was really highlighting one of the things that we've always thought was one of the best ways to play is to have an opener that sort of always looks the same, but you can actually bring it to pretty much any route as the game goes on.
Well, he starts everything up. No second gateway. So going for 1-gate this time, wants some quicker tech of some sort. This is where Classic should really get scared. He's like, oh my god, he did it 2-gate.
Well, let's see what they're going to do. You can still go 1-gate and keep it ambiguous as well. That's something to note.
Yeah, sure.
There's just different ways to do it.
It's still quite ambiguous, but it takes out the possibility of like quick 3 stalker pressure or something like that.
A rush. Yeah. A rush, basically.
So you're a little bit more comfortable against the 1-gateway, I think. So SOS
it's Twilight
Stargate
versus Stargate.
Okay. It's funny because you would think that like
Classic had a probe, man. He's in the main now.
Oh, that's actually really good to see.
This is really huge.
Yeah. So Classic, does he want to try to do something with Blink Stalkers here? I don't think so. I think he's just going to expand. Like, get Blink and expand. Because, like, if he goes a little bit too ham and SOS just kind of sits back and makes a Twilight, then, you know, Oracle Blink is actually really quite good against Blink. The Oracle makes you keep stuff at home.
And now going and hitting this Mothership Core, he does get the intel he needs. He sees Blink, he sees it all.
3 gateways and Blink, so he does throw up his own Twilight right after getting out of there.
Because the counter to Blink is to get your own Blink.
That's true.
Yeah.
We used to call it counter Blink. It was, I mean, it's kind of funny how it works, because, like, if you have one more Blink Stalker than your opponent, that's a big, big deal.
Yeah.
Or even one more Stalker. It's a lot of units in StarCraft II. The way, with how good pro gamers are at Micro, it makes a huge difference having, like, one more. So, like, that's sometimes what we see. But let's see what they want to go for here. Classic warping in a bit offensively there.
He's going to be coming up here. SOS starting his own Blink. That is about 1 Blink time, upgrade time away from the other one.
Yeah.
So
almost.
I'm not sure how much Classic will commit to this.
Looks like he's committing super heavily at the moment. Does throw down a Robo knowing that DT tech could be almost done right now.
The Oracle's actually could try to fly into the main there, but that means he can't use that Oracle to help defend.
Yeah, he's actually going to have to run up his ramp, I think. I don't know if he can actually defend right here. Yeah, I think that Classic can actually just break this. It's going to take a little bit. And warping in the Zealot's really smart. That can tank a lot. But there's only so much micro that SOS can actually do here.
Oh, some of the Stalkers in the back not attacking either there.
A lot of damage being done right now to SOS's Stalkers, but he's microing well.
Yeah, he's doing a good job. He needs to do another warp in. He needs some fresh Stalkers.
So utilizing that high ground to the best of his ability. Realizes that he should go up a slightly smaller ramp here. You might actually just sit back at the Nexus until his blink is done, though.
Yeah,
that's definitely reasonable.
Oh, there's one probe still down there. Well hidden. Looks like it's going to be hunted down and murdered.
All right, so neither player has taken the natural yet. The Oracle's going to be very happy to see a Robo making an observer here, because that's gas that's now missing for Stalkers.
Yep.
And look at the Stalker count. It's 8 against 9 right now. So this is, if SOS continues to make Stalkers, he can actually just go attack because his opponent made the Robo.
Yeah. And again, the reason why he had to make the Robo, guys, is because you're not entirely sure if your opponent might just go DT at behind the blink. And so he gets the Robo, but he's now gotten defense for something he doesn't really need. Now, what he can do is try to get Immortals, and occasionally that's how you hold off the counter blink attack.
Yeah.
And that looks like that's what Classic is doing now.
Yeah, the force fields definitely help out as well. Make it so he's attacking up more of a choke by putting some force fields on that ramp, or splitting the Stalkers up so they have to prematurely use that blink. All those things can definitely help in these situations. But SOS realizing it can be like a very difficult thing to kill your opponent off by just brute forcing Stalkers into him in this situation. So gonna go into the later game here, picking up his own Robo.
And things are really beginning to normalize here. I mean, this is what PvP really is. Early, I mean, there's so many things that can get crazy. People really can lose right away.
Yeah.
But then eventually you get that second base up, the other guy gets a second base up, and you sort of can't kill each other for a little bit.
And there the first forge timing comes in.
Yes, and
can't kill each other. There it is.
Forge.
Note, this actually I'm more impressed with Classics, how fast his is in comparison, because SOS had full scouting this entire time with his Oracle. Yep. He knew his opponent had a Robo, and he knew that he made a Robo, which means obviously he can make the Forge as soon as he has money. But Classic felt it immediately. He was like, okay, I can make it 2 right now. This is, or not 2, but rather I can make it right now, because I can tell he's not coming to kill me, because he would have already been there. So super close game at the moment. I still do have to give an advantage to SOS just because he has that Oracle, which is gaining him a lot of value flying around and scouting, but let's see how they go from here.
Yeah, this is, okay, so things are going to slow down here. I guess one of the questions we need to ask ourselves is, will there be any kind of Tempest built on this map? Is this going to be one of these games where they can't kill each other?
This map is not like the other map quite. Like, the layout of Echo is similar to the layout of Deadwing in a certain way, where your army can stand in one place and nothing can attack into you. Here, your army can't stand in one place. Like, there can still be more attacks, so I don't think we'll see Tempest this game. If it goes long enough, you always can on any map, but, like, here I really don't think so. I think there's enough area for them to get in and do things.
Well, then what do you think the play is? You just try to get center control and have them kind of walk into your arc?
I think it's like...
What do you think about the Stalkers bunched up there? That seems just like a really weird location to put them. It seems like a bad click. Oh, it looks like he's moving him now.
That did seem kind of...
It's like that's not exactly where you put him. When they had, you can't see anywhere else they can blink to. And
well, for how to win, I think it comes down to they're both going to do the normal pokes and prods of harassment. Like, okay, here comes a Warp Prism. Okay, I move my army in this direction. Oh, you moved your army in the right direction. Okay, I walk back home. That type of thing going on.
Yep.
And then it gets really complicated on how to kill each other, and that's where we can get into the Tempest. So it's hard for both of them to play perfectly, though. So we'll see where someone missteps out of position for a moment.
It is worth noting that SOS is going for a little bit of a quicker third base than Classic.
Yep.
A lot of times in PvP, the third base is taken at almost a remarkably late period in time, considering what the tech is. You pretty much have all the gateways you're going to use up.
Yeah, it's definitely the latest of all the matchups.
Yeah, because you know, even though maybe you could take a base earlier, all they have to do is make some more gates and attack you, and then they have like warping rounds of like 7 or something like that, while you're still on 5, 4, and it's pretty crazy.
Huge difference.
So you kind of both have to like power up as much as possible, and then. Yeah, you're kind of low on income, but then you're like, okay, we barely have a Nexus, and you make it, and you're like, okay.
And You know, this part of the game, though, this is kind of like what you were talking about, where it's they both made their gateways, they both have close enough army sizes where it's like, okay, you can't attack into someone that has a defender's advantage here. So right now, SOS is splitting off his Blink Stalkers from the rest of his army. He's going to first check what's up here with them. All right, there's a third. Some moves that we oftentimes see in situations like this is the main army walk towards the third base, and then the Stalkers kind of go towards the main to try to blink in and kill some probes or something like that. We'll see if that's what he goes for. He could just go straight up for a push as well. That is a possibility. He's gained a slight unit advantage.
All right, he's going to go ahead and back up here, Classic is. So SOS is sort of in the spot right now that's going to make Classic a little bit more uncomfortable. By the way, they both on 2 bases, for those of you guys who are really trying to study hard, on 2 bases, both these guys stop at 50 probes. It's not until the Nexus at the 3rd base is finished that they start making them again. Yep. So that seems to be the magic number from these 2 players on 2 different teams. 2 of the best players. Oh,
that is...
Don't do that, guys. For those of you guys who are beginners, don't throw the Mothership Core away.
Mothership Core is like the most important unit.
Yeah.
Like 2 time warps is invaluable. The amount that you need your time warps cannot be overstated.
No, it's pretty insane how important it is. Because you can slow down an entire army from moving while you're dishing out extra damage.
Yeah,
so
they can't micro under it. You can't micro. You can't run. You can't run forward. You can't do anything. It's your Zealots get fried or your claws. Everything goes wrong. It's so important. That's why we sometimes see people try to use high templates to feedback them.
He's going for broke.
Okay, look at this now.
Don't lose your Mothership Core either.
Oh my God, he just lost his Mothership Core.
I can't believe this. I cannot believe.
Shocking. And SOS is going to get slammed now, I think.
Yeah, this nerd's going to get eaten alive. Look at this, man. This is like he's in a garbage compactor. Well, that's it, SOS. I guess you lost, buddy. Man,
you can't do that.
You made the same blunder your opponent made. Had you not done that, this might have been a different
I was like, okay, I guess he's going to time warp everything that's walking down to kill the left side of the army and then engage on the army that's walking through 2 time warps. But instead, he just lost a Mothership Core in the game.
Okay, it's now going to be Classic up against Mara. Weird ending, not the ending I wanted to see. I don't think anybody wanted to be like that.
That was like Romeo and Juliet. I'm so discontent at the end, man. 2 Mothership Cores, you know, in love on opposite sides, kill themselves at the end and make the game suck at the end.
Yeah, that was, wow, that's not what you go into a pro house and train for all day to end like that. I don't think either player is going to be happy with that. I guess Classic is the one that...
SOS is not tilted, it looks like. Classic's like, I can't believe he lost his Mothership Core after I did it. Thank God. Not that that move would have won the game with it. That was like a weird move no matter what, but SOS is a weird player, so like, I'm going to go ahead and give him the benefit of the doubt that he had a good plan there.
Yeah.
But you literally can't even try that without the time warps. You can't.
We are going to go to a short break. When we come back, it's going to be a fantastic match at TVP Maru against Classic.
안녕하세요, 에이프릴입니다. 네, 저희가 드디어 데뷔곡 꿈사탕으로 여러분을 만나게 되었어요.
저희 데뷔곡 꿈사탕은 동화적인 느낌의 사운드와 화려한 백그라운드 보컬이 절묘하게 조화를 이룬 업템포 하우스 댄스 곡입니다.
꿈을 찾아 세계여행을 하는 순수한 소녀들의 소망을 담은 귀여운 가사가 포인트니깐요. 여러분 귀 기울여 잘 들어주세요. 네, 앞으로 좋은 음악과 사랑스러운 퍼포먼스 많이 보여드릴 테니깐요. 저희 에이프릴 많이 사랑해주세요.
그럼 지금까지 에이프릴이었습니다. 감사합니다.